This is Top Accolade Global News Update. I am Soibifa Jakarich. As Japan embarks on a major military build-up, it's struggling to fill its ranks with the women that its forces need, and its policymakers have pledged to recruit. Following a wave of sexual harassment cases, the number of women applying to join the Self-Defense Forces (SDF) decreased by 12% in the year ending March 2023 after several years of steady growth. Some victims have said an entrenched culture of harassment could deter women from signing up. But 9 months after the Defense Ministry pledged to take drastic measures, it has no plans to take actions on a key recommendation issued by an independent panel of experts, implementing a national sex system for reviewing anti-harassment training standards, according to two ministry officials responsible for training. The government-appointed panel had identified in a report published in August that the military's superficial harassment education, which made only limited mention of sexual harassment, and a lack of centralized oversight of such training were contributing factors to cultural problems within the institution. The head of the panel, Makoto Tadaki, said some training sections, one of which were at odds with the gravity of the situation. A servicewoman who is suing the government over an alleged sexual harassment incident also said in an interview that the education she received over the past 10 years was ineffective. Calls to root out harassment and increase the number of servicewomen come as aging Japan faces rising threats from China, North Korea and Russia, and navigates the burdensome legacy of its wartime past. Women make up just 9% of military personnel in Japan, compared to 17% in the United States, Tokyo's key security ally. The ministry said it had hosted harassment prevention lectures by external experts since 2023, made sections more discussion-based, and planned to invite specialists to review its training this year. Amazon said on Monday it would invest more than 1.2 billion euros, that is $1.3 billion, in its French operations and create more than 3,000 permanent jobs in the country. The French presidency had said on Sunday that Amazon and other companies, including JSK, Accenture, announced investment worth billions as part of the country's annual Choose France event, which begins on Monday. Amazon Web Services (AWS) investment would increase cloud infrastructure in the Paris area to support France's flourishing generative AI opportunity and logistics infrastructure in the Auvergne-Rhône-Alpes region, the company said in a statement. Increased popularity of Gen AI has been fueling demand for cloud services, and France has become a hub for AI, with promising startups such as Mistral and Poolside. Companies such as Meta and Google have set up AI research centers in the country. Amazon has invested more than 20 billion euros in its French operations since 2010 and employs more than 22,000 permanent employees across its cloud and online retail businesses. These jobs are in addition to the 2,000 jobs we announced for 2024, said Frédéric Duva, country manager at Amazon France. A part of the investment would also be used to expand its logistics network to increase speed of delivery and reduce carbon emissions. It has more than 35 logistics facilities in France. British employers expect to raise wages by 4% over the coming 12 months, a similar rate to 3 months ago, according to an industry survey on Monday that suggested businesses were less willing to take on higher labor costs. The Chartered Institute of Personnel and Development said expected median pay settlements in the private sector for the coming 12 months was unchanged at 4%, while expectations in the public sector remained at 3%. British consumer price inflation slowed to 3.2% in March, and the Bank of England expects it to have eased further to around 2% in April after a reduction in regulated energy prices. While employers' pay rise expectations remain above pre-pandemic levels, we would expect them to adjust their plans for pay rises in the coming months as inflation falls and the labor market continues to slow. James Cockett, labor market economist at the CIPD, said. The Resolution Foundation think tank, in a separate report on Monday, also said the current growth in inflation adjusted adjusted wages looked unsustainable, a BOE survey of employers published showed they expected to raise wages by 4.6% over the coming year, the smallest amount since the series started in May 2022. Official labor market figures are expected to show a small slowdown in wage growth. Economists polled by forecasts regular pay to have increased by 5.9% in March, slightly below the 6.0% rise in the month before. Wage growth tends to be faster than growth in pay settlement in Britain, as the latter does not include gains made by workers who move to better paid jobs. Although the Bank of England held interest rates at a 16-year high last week and signaled it could be on course to cut rates at its next meeting in June, it is still closely monitoring wage growth, which threatens to push up inflation. South Korea's government signed an agreement on Monday with AliExpress and PDD Holdings, Temu, to promote product safety, the Korea Fair Trade Commission (KFTC) said. The agreement comes after heightened regulatory scrutiny of AliExpress, Temu, and other Chinese e-commerce platforms as they significantly expand their user base in South Korea. Recently conducted safety inspections on products such as those for children sold on the AliExpress and Temu platforms detected a large amount of substances harmful to the human body, seriously threatening consumer safety and making the agreements necessary, trade watchdog KFTC said. Ray Zhang, CEO of AliExpress Korea, said the platform had stepped up consumer protection policies since March, including a customer hotline without any language barriers and faster returns. Under the agreement, the government will provide data and check whether harmful products have been blocked from sale by the platforms. The KFTC said it is also separately pursuing the passing of a Consumer Safety Act that will assign legally binding responsibilities to platforms. It is the first time Temu has signed such a voluntary agreement anywhere in the world. The KFTC said although AliExpress has a history of signing such agreements with the European Union and Australia, South Korea's e-commerce market punches far above its weight as the fourth largest in the world, according to Euromonitor data, only behind China, the United States, and the United Kingdom, and bigger than Japan's market, despite having only the 29th largest population in the world. The number of AliExpress and Temu users in South Korea has ballooned to 8.87 million and 8.29 million, respectively, as of March 2024, ahead of domestic shopping platforms such as 11's 7.4 million users, according to the KFTC. A man with end-stage renal disease who earlier this year became the first human to receive a new kidney from genetically modified pig has died. Massachusetts General Hospital in Boston said the Mass General Transplant team is deeply saddened at the sudden pass of Mr. Rick Slayman, the hospital said in a statement on Saturday. We have no indication that it was the result of his recent transplant. Slayman, 62, of Weymouth, Massachusetts, received the transplant in March in a 4-hour surgery that the hospital at the time called a major milestone in the quest to provide more readily available organs to patients. Slayman had received the transplant of a human kidney at the same hospital in 2018 after 7 years of dialysis, but the organ failed after 5 years and he had resumed dialysis treatment. The kidney was provided by eGenesis of Cambridge, Massachusetts, from a pig that had been genetically addicted to remove genes harmful to a human recipient and add certain human genes to improve compatibility, according to the hospital. The company also inactivated viruses inherent to pigs that have the potential to infect humans. Kidneys from similarly addicted pigs raised by eGenesis had successfully been transplanted into monkeys that were kept alive for an average of 176 days, and in one case for more than 2 years, researchers reported in October in the journal Nature. Drugs used to help prevent rejection of the pig organ by patients, but the patient's immune system, including an experimental antibody called tegoprobate developed by Aladdin Pharmaceuticals, according to the hospital. According to a data tracker maintained by the United Network for Organ Sharing, more than 100,000 people in the US await an organ for transplant, with kidneys in the greatest demand. NYU surgeons had previously transplanted pig kidneys into brain-dead people. That is the size of top accolade global news updates. You can follow us on our social media platforms as displayed on your screen. Happy Monday.